Welcome back here, 2025 Atlantic City Open, second stop on the tour this year. Matty Marshall with Mike Jeffrey, one of the favorites here at this event, about to take the field. Edmonton Impact playing the 20th ranked team Leverage. So on paper, absolutely have to give this one to Impact. We do not play the games on paper though, and if you want to be a legend, you got to beat legends. So let's see what you got, Leverage. And then also in this set, series title holders from 2024, Red Legion, their first game today, playing a warmed-up Aftermath, who had a really good game against the Sea Dogs here, Mike.
Yeah, definitely. Leverage looked better against the Tauntauns than they did yesterday, certainly. So would like to see them be competitive against Impact here. Got to be out here playing to win, looking for that elusive first pro win, sitting at 0-7 so far in the pro ranks after winning the spot. Series champions in semi-pro last year. But it's been a different story for them up here with the big dogs.
Well, this is what they wanted, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's Saturday. Got to play Impact. You desperately need to win. You got to look, because there's 3 more events this season, and the last ranked team gets relegated. And the last thing on earth that Leverage wants to happen is to earn the spot, do it the hard way. It's tough down in semi-pro, man. It is really difficult down there. It's like 28 semi-pro teams.
Yeah.
So, but that's what's at stake. That's why it's interesting.
And
That's why it's difficult.
A spot is worth money, too.
That's true.
If you're a 19th, 18th ranked pro team, you can sell that spot. If you're saying, you know what, this isn't for us anymore. Royal City Sea Dogs.
I talked to the Sea Dogs, though, so they bought their way in. And I talked to them, you know, after or when that happened. And they're like, look, man, we've been doing this a while. And not that we're not confident we can win in semi-pro. Obviously, they did. But if someone's going to give us that opportunity to have a lifetime dream, and we had to buy we got skin in the game, man.
Yeah.
This cost us money to be in here.
And, you know, if you're going to buy your spot, you got to come out here and be competitive or everyone's going to think you're a joke. And they have been. So
Yeah.
I appreciate them. Now Impact against Leverage. Impact 5 alive. Leverage 5 alive as well. 2 in the back center with Dominic DeVivo and Pashuta.
Yeah, so at least a good break here for Leverage, and going to be moving early, getting out on that D side to the mini wall. Going to get chopped in half, though, trying to get up into that brick. So good zone control here for Impact. They are going to be losing a body, though.
Yeah, they lose Laval, but they kill another on the fill for Leverage, so 4-on-3 advantage for Impact here. Brandon Cornell rolled that ankle in practice, but said it felt pretty good after playing 2 matches yesterday.
That's a good sign for Impact, because
Definitely.
he does get the lion's share of the spins as the first attacker on the D side of the field.
Brandon Cornell has been one of the best over there for a long time, and I'm pretty sure he just shot Chris Caputo in the pack, or maybe that was Dalton Vanderbilt, who's also played really well for them.
Yeah, I like the combo of actually Dalton and Brandon together. Just gives them a lot of pop on that D side. And then
Yeah.
Dalton's actually been going up the middle as well, too.
Yeah, just the Dorito 2 in the back center left for Leverage. Good comms from Tyler Harmon asking where's the last body from that South Electronics can. He probably wants to make a move into the snake, wants to make sure it's safe first, gets the comms. Impact always with the top level comms, doesn't matter who's on that roster. Coach Dave Baines, Bart Yakimek, it's their identity to play with control, choke teams out. Brandon Cornell gonna bunker the Leverage player, stay alive nicely. Pashuta also gonna catch it in the back from Cornell here. Nicely done by Impact. They made it look pretty easy there, Maddie.
A little cruise control.
I'd say,
Take it right to 75, put it on cruise control.
you know, we're out here in Atlantic City, so forgive us for all the gambling talk, but it just feels appropriate as I look out and see the Caesars Casino sign. I think if you were a bookmaker here and you were setting the odds on this one, Impact would be a 4.5-point favorite out here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It just, where's Leverage at in their heads right now? It's been a rough start to the season for them. They're playing, you know, one of these high-powered all-star squads. But the way I look at it is like, good. Again, this is what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
This is what we wanted.
You got to believe that you belong up here, that you can beat anybody.
Well, when I say this is what we wanted, is we want to be playing Impact. We want to be
Right.
playing teams in this card. We want to be pros. And I know they do. And the good news for them, though, is like, okay, you've figured out what your weaknesses are. You have a little bit of time between now and the next event. Let's work on those weaknesses until they become our strengths. And then you just need one good showing to get out of that relegation conversation. Because even if they pop up like a 10th, you know, and everyone else stays at the bottom of the barrel, you're going to be good to go. Blue Legion here in their first point against Aftermath, losing Malloy, and they're going to be losing Karslev?
Yeah, Karslev
as well, too.
So 5-on-3. Great job by Aftermath to win off the break. Now Grayson Gladstone developing up the middle. Trujillo making his moves down the Dorito side. Believe that's Zach Carter getting into the forward cans. Great zone control. Now here comes Velasquez.
Another body dropping right now for Legion, as it's going to be Sergey Sonaisko. He takes the walk. Justin Rabakov comes across and he gets shot. This is a great first point here for ASG Aftermath.
Oh, Velasquez going to catch one, though.
Yeah, that's a bad death for Julian. That's pretty much the only mistake they made, though. 4 bodies alive. Julian did not need to die in that situation with all the time in the world on the clock.
Yeah, sometimes you see all the bodies come off. You come hunting for kills, get a little overzealous there. Does Velasquez, not talking about the great Spanish court painter Diego Velasquez, but Lucas Velasquez, the great snake player for San Diego Aftermath. Want to see him tightened up. Julian, sorry. Lucas and Julian.
Okay.
Yeah. Julian Velasquez.
Yeah, he's a mainstay down in Southern California. Again, coaches a ton of teams, so he jumps to that spot. He sees that body come off, and then going to wrap around. And again, just a minor little mistake here. He had no idea that back center was still hot, and it made last body made him pay. But that was literally the only mistake that Aftermath made in that whole point. Let's see if Leverage can put one on the board here, or is Impact going to stay on cruise control? Impact looked pretty good yesterday, undefeated through 2. Beat the Tauntauns in a close one and then put up a decent amount of points on the Hurricanes.
Ref checking Caputo in that can, but he's clean, so Leverage gets 5 out alive. That's step 1. We're trying to get on the board against Impact here. Keeping 5 bodies alive off the break, so critical. Looks like Nick Laval, one of the best to ever do it in the modern era, up the middle, comes into that brick. He's got Ricky Moran in front of him, who has a trap set. That Dorito side wedge there. Yeah, if Laval comes forward with another bite, he's going to be walking into Moran's gun.
Yeah, Mike, he's thinking about it. He's posted up on that lane, but the way his body language is indicating it might be a forward movement, but Moran is completely just locked on that zone. Also locked on that snake zone, too, to try to keep Impact out of the snake.
Yeah, I think that actually might be Alfred De Los Santos up there in the middle. I can't tell from here, but he's really keyed up there for Laval.
Zach also going to double up here with Nick Laval.
Zach was the standout player for me yesterday from Impact. I thought he played great up the middle.
Well, ask the Sea Dogs who the best Canadian player ever was, because while I was watching Zach Yakimeth look so good yesterday, I'm thinking, man, is Zach the best Canadian ever to do it? And I asked the Sea Dogs, and he was on their list. He's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be on that list. He's been doing it for so long.
But I'm like, is he the best?
Right.
And it was either him or JC. Those are 2 guys.
Yeah, that's a really tough debate there. Impact trading bodies out of the middle. But now Leverage making moves up the Dorito side. I'd love to see it into that Dorito too.
Yeah, they played off that center chaos a little bit here, and they're going to get the drop in on Nick Laval, so he's forced to take the walk. Just 3 bodies left alive right now for Impact. Verse 4, slight advantage here for Leverage. And you see Dalton trying to figure out with Cornell, okay, where should we put our guns? Where do we want to move next? They're not feeling much pressure at all. No one's shooting at either Dalton Vanderbilt or Brandon Cornell.
Yeah, really nice player by that Leverage, or play by that Leverage player to get into that Dorito too and shoot Nick Laval immediately out of the middle. That changed the tide here from even bodies to up a body for Leverage. Leverage got to find a way to develop some offense around him as well. This was their issue in the first match against the Tauntauns as well. Up a body, but playing with down body posture.
So Brandon with the lead. Going to do a tactical retreat. It looked like he wanted to move forward, but now he's going to go out to that back corner bunker on the D side. Maybe try to set a bit of a trap.
Vanderbilt and Tyler Harmon talking. Dominic DeVivo talking with his boys. They don't know exactly what they have. Their Dorito 2 player just looked back and said, what do we got? Can't develop offense if you don't know where the other bodies are.
Tough death there for Leverage.
Dalton, great shot. Crept forward, found a shot on that Dorito 2, so now 3-on-3.
Yeah, so it's 3-on-3, but with the death of that body, with the outside containment that Impact has in the lead, this is a massive advantage here, even in a 3-on-3 for Edmonton Impact.
Yeah, and Leverage is stuck in the back 3 bunkers, and now Tyler Harmon's in the 50 snake. So they have no wire contain at all, no one in the snake. Tyler Harmon's going to gain dominance on Chris Caputo before too long, I'm sure. Looks inside, tries to shoot that insert Aztec on the Dorito side. That player's feeling the pinch.
Yeah, so Harmon drawing some guns and now talking it up. There's actually only one gun looking Tyler Harmon's way, and it's the back center. The Aztec and the South Electronics can are both looking towards that D side, but they're looking so far up, and Brandon Cornell's all the way at the farthest bunker away that he possibly could be in from them, and that's going to take all the pressure off Dalton, so Dalton's going to coast up to the wedge. Nice move by Dalton Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Dalton has a lot of freedom here. No one can really contain him. Brandon Cornell now making a move up into the Dorito 1. Chris Caputo just staying on the cross, staying inside. DeVivo out in the corner. That way he can at least contest Brandon Cornell, who's looking out from that Dorito 1. Maybe try to win a gun battle here. Longer point, only 8 minutes left.
Well, and also Impact really doesn't have to do anything here. Though they already had 2 wins yesterday. I mean, a 1-0 win is fine for them.
Yeah.
It's up to Leverage to try to figure out a way to move into these guns, but Impact and Tyler Harmon, he's had enough of this. He's like, nah, I'm going forward, man. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to get some kills. Let's stack up some points here.
Yeah, unable to shoot that Dorito corner, who's playing super tight over there for Leverage. Yeah, just can't even get his gun up with Brandon Cornell down the wire and Tyler Harmon applying pressure from the inside. They're really trying to put the pinch on DeVivo here.
I was going to say, Tyler could keep going if he wants to.
Just got to be careful turning this corner. We just saw Jerry Carl get shot.
He's going to get a free kill in the back center. Oh, he's going to shoot Caputo's back. Oh, I was going to say, did he miss? I don't think so. I thought I saw that break off his pack.
Now it's almost impossible. If Brandon Cornell can get dominance at all, that Dorito corner will die. He's living on the edge here. We call this the ride or die.
Yeah, this is just beautiful little textbook moves here from Tyler Harmon. No surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be the most entertaining to watch, but I love the way Impact is playing this. Just really methodical.
Oh, Mike, they could play this way more boring. They're up 1-0. They don't need to move forward. They could just sit there and wait for Leverage to start running through their guns.
Yep.
So they're actually doing us a solid right now.
Yeah, Tyler coming all the way down. Now he's going to kill at least one once he finds his way to engage. Trying to protect himself from the back center.
He's going to be a little 2-pack here, maybe 3-pack for Tyler Harmon to close if he wants to commit on this snapshot battle. Beautiful job by Tyler Harmon. Intelligent close from Dalton Vanderbilt and Brandon Cornell to solidify that second point. But it's the entertainment value is thanks to Tyler Harmon.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a point that I would show to young teams in order to see how you win a 3-on-3. And it's by taking the smart bumps forward when they're available and developing together, keeping communications throughout the point.
Yeah, so it was a longer point, but it started with Zach Yakimek coming through and trading out here. And then you see, utilizing that chaos, Dalton gets out and dips into that Aztec. And then we see the kill from Brandon Cornell down that sideline, and the finish comes courtesy of Tyler Harmon. Pops the top, little bit of a risk there, but feeling pressure, decides to wait until Caputo has to switch his gun back to the D side, and then just methodically made his way down, knuckle by knuckle, down the snake side, gets that kill on Caputo. Caputo just could have been tucked in a little bit tighter.
10 seconds.
Yeah, and nicely done by Impact. 2-0 lead, full control. Now, Aftermath, Red Legion, after a long wait for the second point. Aftermath going to lose Malloy off the break again. So Aftermath just really got that short shot dialed. Nice job by Steve Mazurek there.
Yeah, that's one of the big kills you want to get. Ooh, but
he got a minor though.
Minor penalty. Carter getting pulled out. That pulls out Cody Woodruff as well too. So this is the small mistakes you can't make when you're playing against Legion. You shoot Malloy, the offensive player of 2024, and then you get a minor. And so now you're playing 3-on-4.
Yeah, I think Grayson almost got caught going forward into that brick from Karslev in that Dorito 1. Sergey in the Hertz tower, making sure that Velasquez can't get into the snake for Aftermath. Now going to switch inside. Oh, but I think he might have been pulled on a 1-for-1. Or no, had a hit on his pack.
Well,
regardless, 3-on-3.
Yeah, and J-Rap beats Julian into the snake. So Justin Rabikoff at snake 1. Julian still posted up. He's going to match him. Can he get through the gap? And he does. But looks like Pasha Karslev getting shot out. And then they're going to take out, man, grinding the gears out here. It's not looking good for Red Legion through 2. Aftermath warmed up nicely again in that win against the Sea Dogs. And they're looking pretty dialed and even gutting their way through some mistakes out here.
Yeah, I think Red Legion might have caught a minor in that one as well, but still, Steven Mazurek putting the shot on Malloy 2 points in a row has really been the difference in this match. Aftermath getting bodies out alive, connecting on the off-the-break shots. In Red Legion, yeah, at times they've looked, really human and beatable out here.
Well,
J-Rab had kind of a tough day yesterday, turned it around. They also beat the Ironman 6-0, so it's a funny thing with Red Legion. It's like they're struggling, but they also they can get on that gas pedal real quick.
Yeah, they're human too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys play a lot of paintball, and they've dedicated and they get paid to do this thing we call pro paintball. But occasionally, they're going to come out and have a bad beat here or there. It's just, if you're playing against them, can you take advantage of it? Can you rise to the occasion? And right now, though, these points have gone fast, and so I'm sure they're going to get a little talking to. Red Legion will have a little talking to from their coaching staff, and 2 points, whatever, no big deal. We still have, 13 and a half minutes left to play?
Yeah.
So, but if you're Aftermath, you got to, play mistake-free paintball, and let's ride this momentum and execute out here.
Yeah, and recognize that the Red Legion attack is going to come. We got to maintain our discipline, keep those guns rolling, keep our composure, keep our comms up. 2-0 lead, that's a long way from the finish line against a team like Red Legion that wants to play a ton of points.
Very, very long way from the finish line. I mean, technically only 4 points away from a Mercy Row win, but it's still,
yeah.
Oh man, seems like you got a 12,000 foot peak to climb sometimes when you're playing Red Legion.
Absolutely. Leverage now down 2 against Impact. Sitting at 0-3. Impact getting nice and warmed up now. They send Caputo off the break. He gets shot. Running referee checking the pack of the Aztec player. He's clean, but they lose a body out of the center. So in short order, just 3 bodies left alive for Leverage. They do get into the snake, however, but they're looking at 5 Impact bodies. Make that 4. Brandon Cornell getting shot on a bump forward there.
Ooh, uncharacteristic. Bad death for Brandon Cornell, getting shot on a bump up, bodies up points. Don't really see that often, so.
Yeah, I believe that was Alfred De Los Santos from the back center who put that shot on him, but now Tyler Harmon getting into the 50 snake.
Yeah, with no one on that D side, door open slightly here for Leverage, but they're still down bodies. And they're gonna be going down another one.
Yeah, not looking good for Leverage here. Probably gonna be going down 0-3 here, unless this snake player can make a ton happen for them. That's Zach Moran in the stake, number 4 for Leverage. He's got Tyler Harmon in front of him in that 50, one of the legends of the game. Tyler Harmon's been doing this since he was about, 13 years old, playing at the pro level?
Yeah, that's when I met him.
Insane. It's a long time to be playing at the level that guy's been playing at. He's been in every situation here. Playing a flex 1 on the snake side for Impact. Now Zach Yakimek getting into that wedge. That's going to take away almost any ability for Zach Moran to run down Tyler Harmon should he feel that impulse down 2 points.
It's also nice to have a teammate right next to you in another good position. Gives you a lot of confidence to start clocking in. With 4:44 left to go here. Impact just being really smart about all these engagements and really not risking much.
Yeah.
Which is, and in a very good way.
Yeah,
playing very high-level intelligent paintball out here.
Yeah, now Dalton making some moves out to the wire, Dorito way, recognizing that there's very little pressure over there. Rainey Stanzak trailing with him. Great job by Rainey recognizing that he can stay with Dalton over there. Zach and Tyler have the snake down on lock. Here comes Dalton onto Leverage's side of the field now. Zach Moran, it's going to get really tough for him really fast. Taking a ton of heat. Zach Yakimek coming forward, shoots him. Just the back center player left for Leverage.
Yeah,
and no longer.
Calm, aggressive, methodical, good communication. So few mistakes here for Edmonton Impact, and they're going to get a concession from leverage with 3:51 to go, and going to be 3-0. But the story is still the same. It's just been all Impact.
Yeah, Impact in full control of this match, Maddie. Looking nice and warmed up here. Haven't seen Marcelo Margot yet this morning. Only 3 points so far. We'll see how Dave Baines wants to run the situation. Mikey Urena.
Well,
Haven't seen him yet out here.
yeah, I mean, Dave can pick 5 guys out of a hat and have a really amazing starting 5.
Yeah. It's almost like your vision for who do you want to have. Are you trying to get someone going before you go into your 4th match? You win this game, you're already going on to Sunday. That 4th match sitting at 3-0, of course you want to have the bye, but you might start thinking about, do I want to get this guy off the bench so I have him available to me tomorrow?
Well, they're going to play damage in the last match as we're heading this. This is an
Great
interesting
test.
story, though, because with 13 minutes on the clock, ASG Aftermath's up by 2. This is when they really need to tighten things up. Big bite by Kirill off the break here, up the middle, and it's like a body dropping with Lucas taking the walk. Lucas or Brandon?
4-on-4 situation here, but Aftermath stuck in the pocket. Sergey up the middle for Red Legion. Justin Rabakov keeping the Dorito side attack in check. Asking questions, talking with Malloy, who survives the breakout for the first time in this match against Aftermath. That gun off the break had been so good for them.
Yeah, and Aftermath with Julian mirroring up with Malloy, he's just focusing his gun. Today we're seeing that can shoot a little bit more towards the D side. D side is the more initial aggressive side, especially getting up to that 30-40 yard line. And then the snake really starts to become a factor at that point. But you notice this, that the can is looking D side a little bit more? I know it's really early in the day, but
definitely looking more inside. That is true, Maddie.
But if you know if that's something you can get a read on the scouting, and you know how much time that guy's dedicated towards that side, if you're playing heads up against him, that's one less gun you got to worry about to get into the snake.
Definitely. I don't really like how Aftermath is playing this. Red Legion is starting to dictate the pace and play their style of game with Karslev. Oh, nice. I like this. Velasquez getting into the snake right there. That's great. That actually changes the makeup of this point in a significant way. Generate a little offense.
Yeah, it gives them a little offensive pop. It spreads those angles out, and it's going to slow, because now Legion has to match. So if Malloy tries to get through this gap, Carter might be able to put a ball on him.
Well, it also changes the dynamic for the center player, because Sergey can't just play whatever bunker he wants over there. He has to be concerned about a whack-a-mole snake player just appearing on his end and shooting him in the side. And good job by Velasquez there to check off his side of the field, those center bunkers first.
Yeah, but he knows that there's no one in the snake, so he can live on the outside of the spot because Malloy's not in there with him.
Sergey's ripping a bounce shot, too, off of that snake 4 into the 50 snake. So Russian Legion, they always put so much time on these layouts, and they always know those bounce shots. But Cody Woodruff is dying out of his spot. Really tough death there.
Yeah, and then Julian's going to get shot, too. See, these are the mistakes that Aftermath cannot be making. They get into these crucial positions, and it's all paired up, essentially, as far as the energy from both teams, and then just, death here, death there.
Ooh, they do pick up Karslev coming forward, though, on the attack. So I think it's Sergey. Oh, but Grayson.
That was Carter.
Oh, Carter.
No, that was Grayson, sorry.
Yeah, Grayson overextending there. Gets picked up by Sergey. Just one body left alive for Aftermath. So 1-on-3 in favor of Red Legion. And Sergey going to put the finishing touches. Red Legion getting on the board. Cut the lead to 1. Yeah, I mean, Aftermath really developed in a nice way later in that point where they generated some offense on the snake side. It turned the balance. It felt like Red Legion really owned all the important property on the field until that point, but then 2 deaths out of bunkers right after that.
Yeah, the death from Woodruff was a tough one because then that lets Karslev really do what Karslev does best, which is get on your side of the field and cause problems. And then right after that, Julian was also in treacherous position. I like where he was living from that bounce shot. And then here we see the close, as at that point, the point was pretty much over. It was a lot of bodies to just one. There's big Sergey in the pits with Legion right now.
Can hear Dave Baines screaming out codes to his impact guys. they always have a really set designed way that the field needs to be played.
So a couple new bodies in here right now. Marcelo Margot and Rainey Stanzik getting spins. Saw them yesterday quite a bit.
Up 3-0 is Impact. Zach playing the one, basically running and shooting to the snake off the break to Zach Yakimek. And he killed Chris Caputo, heads up, they trade. It's a 4-on-4 situation, but man, I like that. Zach went deep, gun up, and made snake off the break. Gets the trade, so 3-0 lead.
Yeah.
Just 3:30 left on the clock in a commanding 3-point lead for Impact.
And we can see her eye in the sky. No one really on the snake side, for particularly for leverage. Impact does have that forward can. Margot is definitely thinking about getting to the South Electronics can. He's wrapping around from that back center. And then here's the back two players for leverage.
Yeah, Marcelo definitely wants it. It's tough because he can't see his mirror in the back center who has his gun that way. So it feels a little risky to go into a blind zone. Both him and his mirror are trying to shoot the bounce shot off of that can, have one ricochet back into the back center.
But it's really, I mean, Impact's commanding 3-point lead, under 3 minutes to play. Don't need spread. They really don't need to do much. If Margot can get out wide and they just want to cross it up, they can totally do that. Or they could just rip their guns and slow things down from here if they want. Margot's going to release, goes up to the brick. I like that too, safer.
Yeah, and he saw his mirror go out to the South Electronics can, called it Cali. So sees him go, knows what the move off of that is. He likes to come into the brick. Looks like leverage is in that wedge. Both teams in the wedge now. Marcelo looking like he wants to come forward. Oh, they ring around the rosy a little bit and trade. Another trade, so 3-on-3.
Off of that, leverage able to get in the snake and get through Harmon's gun. Then here comes Rainey Stanzik with the big fill from the back center all the way into snake one. He makes it clean as leverage was repositioning, so no guns on that lane. Perfectly timed by Rainey Stanzik.
I like the way that leverage played off the scramble there too. They got into the snake, they got into the Dorito too, but then they die out of their bunkers. Alfred and Pushido dying at the same time, and then Impact.
Yeah, Impact absorbs the aggression on that D side and then launches their own attack, killing pretty much everybody, and that is going to do it here for point number 4. Still leverage struggling to put together consistent offense against the big guns at Edmonton Impact.
And Maddie, if you bet on this game at that -4.5 spread with Impact up 4-0, this next point is really critical. You had Impact with the as the favorites there.
If I was home at right now and I had money on that line, I'd be like, come on, Impact.
Come on, Impact. I know it's 90 seconds. I know you don't need the point. Come on, let's get it. Let's get it.
Can we get a major? Let's get a major on leverage.
Yeah.
A desperation penalty?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's listen in here, Impact in the pits.
Hey, good fucking move. Right when I'm off the top, hey, a minute 30, guys. Yeah. Minute 30, boys. And I can't move when there's Chicago and we need every point. Good job.
Tyler Harmon, all business all the time. Up 4-0. We need every point, he says. He wants every point out here.
I said this yesterday, and it's just true as we're jumping into this next one here. We'll talk about that in a second. So here we go as Aftermath on the left-hand side, Legion on the right-hand side, as Krill's going to take some ground, but they are going to be losing a body. Yeah, it's Karslev again off that D side. Looks like Grayson Gladstone going to be taking the walk, though, to even up the count 4-on-4. Some movement for Aftermath as they get all the way into D1.
I think that's what Red Legion is doing better than anybody out here, is shooting the secondary from that forward can up the middle. They are going to lose Sergey, however.
Yeah, good zone control here after getting that penetration on the D side to get that shot in on Sergey Sernaiskov. But here comes Kirill Peridny attacking up the middle, focusing his gun towards that D1 position.
It's a 3-on-3 here, or does Aftermath have 4? Red Legion certainly with
4 for Aftermath.
So body advantage here for Aftermath. But again, the thing is even though they're down a body, it feels like Red Legion has all the pressure and are enforcing their will out here. I think that's the big factor with Red Legion, is they find a way. Down bodies, down points, doesn't matter. It always feels like they're playing the way they want to play.
Yeah, that's why they were so good last year. They didn't care if they'd lose a body and they're playing 3-on-4 or 4-on-5, as long as they're in the positions that they want to be in. It worked out more for him last year, obviously, than it didn't, as They won 2 events and the series title by a mile.
Yeah, so Justin Rabikov had been in that forward can, but retreated to the back center. Now getting to that insert bunker on the Dorito side. Great field recognition by Rabikov. Recognizes that they were lacking on the Dorito wire, so works his way backward and then across. Oh, and then they kill, I think, Brandon Trujillo, so now it is a 3-on-3.
These are, we keep talking about these deaths for Aftermath. Those are the deaths that can't happen. If you want to win paintball tournaments and you're up on a really amazing team like Red Legion and you're up points and you're up bodies, you cannot die in your spots.
I believe it was Lucas actually who died in a spot over there, so it's a 3-on-3 now. Red Legion in the center onto Aftermath's side of the field. Zach Carter having to live on the edge here. Can't even get his gun up on the inside. Just a clean move by Kirill to give Red Legion a body advantage. 3-on-2 now for Red Legion. Make it a 3-on-1. About to tie it up unless Cody Woodruff can pull some magic, and he does shoot Kirill.
Kirill, yeah, it's making it a little bit interesting here as just 2 bodies left alive on the field for Legion, but they should be able to get this done with the field spread, and they do get that last kill on Cody Woodruff. So gonna have a tie score here, a little under 7 minutes by the time Malloy gets in to hit that buzzer. But these are just frustrating situations when you're playing Legion, man, because you're an up-and-coming team like Aftermath. You go up a couple points, and you're looking at that clock, 13 minutes. Oof. Again, we just talked about that, and sure enough, even though Aftermath in some good spots are just losing body here, body there, and Legion taking full advantage of that.
To me, the big difference for Aftermath is they got to try to get away from this forward can getting pinched out. That guy's not really being very effective, but nice job by Cody Woodruff to put a ball on Kirill there in that 1-on-3, but 1-on-2 against J-Rab and Malloy, that's a really tough ask.
Yeah, that was Lucas, that first body to drop over, or second body to drop on the D side.
And that was what changed it from a 4-on-3 to a 3-on-3, gave Red Legion all the momentum. Now Impact.
So Rainey and Marcelo getting a spin again with Brandon, and I don't see the 5th body yet.
Yeah, this is a different year
Tyler.
for Impact. 2 lines is out. We're not going to the bench. We want the starting 5, even up 4-0 with 90 seconds left. Leverage going deep to the Dorito 1 off the break and filtering up the middle. They don't shoot anyone on Impact, though. So 5-on-5. Leverage playing for pride here. Sitting at 0-3. Impact going to go 3-0. They're going to be playing tomorrow no matter what. No surprise there with that star-studded lineup. Leverage developing.
Yeah, hunting in the middle, and Impact with the 5 bodies alive. Took a little risk to get to that back corner bunker on the D side, just zoning things up and waiting for this attack. They're going to be losing Rainey. Here comes Dalton up the middle of the field. He's going to get shot. Leverage chalking up some kills here on the attack. Is minor penalty, though, going to be assessed on Leverage. No swing point with minors, only happens with majors. So the bend don't break moment here for Impact to try to preserve this shutout victory.
Look, going to be another minor. Man, if you had Impact at -4.5, you're loving this right now. The 2 minors wipe it out. Impact going to go up 5-0 here to cover the spread and put another one on the board, Maddie.
See, paintball's not fixed. Everyone's always, the NFL's rigged. I'm like, really? The $quadrillion biggest sport in the United States is rigged. Okay, sure. Sure, you're right. So, yeah, Impact looking flawless out here.
Yeah, they look real good. Leverage, man, they were developing nicely there in that 90-second point. I like the way they were doing the press. The way they're getting minors tells me that they might need to clean it up a little bit at practice and be a little bit more honest at practice. You know, you're taking bounces at practice. A lot of those are hits at tournaments.
Absolutely.
So if you're playing through your bounces at practice, a lot of times you come out here and you're catching minors. So that would be one of my teachable moments for Leverage here, who's going to finish 0-4 after going down 5 points. Just 30 seconds left in that one. But here we are, tie game, Red Legion. Aftermath with their tournament on the line.
Yeah, this is a good one. Aftermath, what are you made of here? Let's see. They do get a kill off the break, so they send Kuzman in here for Legion, but looks like Legion also strikes shooting Julian. So it's going to be another 4-on-4 situation.
Yeah, I would spin Steven Mazurk every time because he just has that shot dialed in for that South Electronics can. And I liked by Red Legion running Kuzmin there instead of Malloy, because now Malloy is still alive in the secondary.
Well, Malloy made a nice fill to take that spot, so, and then Aftermath did as well too. So a couple secondaries, everyone alive after the initial bursts. And now movement for ASG Aftermath to get to the mini wall on the D side. Brooke Brittany here on your screen. He's thinking about making a move out wide.
Sergey already in that center brick. Cody Woodruff and I think Danny Trujillo over there, but Kirill playing over the top of that.
But Mike, we're in another situation where Legion is in slightly better field position here than Aftermath, even up on the count. Sergey's going wherever he wants to up the middle of the field. Kirill's not feeling any pressure. He's up and over the top, turreting from the mini brick, and then Karslev's already in D1.
Yeah, I just think having Grayson in that can is a little bit tough. Sergey now hunting through the middle. Now for Red Legion. Oh, but Trujillo catches him coming onto his end. Nice zone control by Trujillo there, and they kill Kirill.
Yeah, they shoot Sergey, they shoot Kirill. They lose Grayson, though, so it's a 3-on-2 situation. Oh, they're going to lose Carter and a minor. Oh, more mistakes here for Aftermath.
I think it's a one-on-one, Maddie.
Costing them.
I think it's a one-on-one. I think it's just Malloy, who, and I think Cody Woodruff shot him.
Malloy gets pulled out as well, too, so.
Or Trujillo?
It's either Tree or Lucas.
Yeah, it's Trujillo.
Yeah, Trujillo. So they're going back and forth between Trujillo and Lucas on that D side. So Trujillo in a pretty chaotic point with just, yeah, bodies dropping everywhere here.
I mean, Aftermath did everything they needed, but then again, Maddie, just those little errors almost cost them down the stretch. That time they had enough bodies to absorb that minor, but need to still tighten it up. It's like a 5% tighten up that Aftermath
I'd say 10%.
10%,
yeah.
sure.
But if I'm a coach for both these squads, I'm probably getting a little frustrated because
Yeah.
there's just mistakes going back and forth on each side.
Aftermath still with the chance in this tournament, sitting at 1-2, but they need this one, and they do take a 1-point lead. Now Impact sitting at 5-0, just about 30 seconds left to go in this one.
Yeah, 21 seconds, and Aftermath sending it. They send Mike Urena to the snake, and then here comes Dalton Vanderbilt past the 50-yard line. They want this mercy roll win. They're trying to make a statement to the league. Dalton does take one, though, as he gets basically past Leverage's 40-yard line, but he draws the guns, and then Urena gets all the way onto their side here in the snake. If he wraps around, he's getting stopped, though, by the can as time expires. So final score will be Edmonton Impact 5 and Leverage 0.
Wow. Very nice job by Impact there, close to a clinic. Mikey Urena getting a spin right there, makes Snake off the break. Impact moving to 3-0. No surprise that they'll be playing tomorrow. Still got a game against Damage, which will matter in terms of getting that bye, getting the seeding. Damage sitting at 2-1. Certainly going to be giving their best effort there. Don't want to be sitting at 2-2 and on the bubble at the end of Saturday.
And Mike, in that set, it's going to be Red Legion and Uprising as the other game.
Wow.
And then depending on what happens here, because Aftermath's beating Red Legion right now, both these teams making some mistakes, and Legion's just making a little bit more than Aftermath is.
Yeah,
but it's been a bit messy.
Yeah, it really has been a messy game where it feels like Red Legion is dictating the pace, but they're losing the game. Aftermath finding a way so far. Kuzmin goes snake off the break this time. He makes it. And I think Karslev got bounced going to the mini Dorito off the break, but advantage to Red Legion with Kuzmin in the snake off the break.
And he makes it into snake too. Malloy thinking about getting up there, but the attack up the middle of the field at Sergey Sonaiskov at slightly past the 50-yard line as Velasquez dives into the snake. He gets right into snake 3. So slightly better field position here than Kuzmin. Here comes Malloy. He's going to get out behind Kuzmin, and he makes it through the gap alive. Good crossfield spread for both these squads. Aftermath into the baby Dorito as Pasha Karslev all the way up into D1. And better field position here again for Red Legion with Sergey on their side, and Karslev, might as well just let him start most of the time in D1.
And look how Grayson has to play that can once they're in Dorito 1, right? It's almost impossible. Sergey does die out of that wedge, though. So Aftermath with the early body advantage, that's been the story of the match so far. It's just been capitalizing on those early body advantages. Sergey still asking where am I hit, but Velasquez in the snake.
Well, even though with the death of Sergey, now there goes Grayson, couldn't get tight enough in that can.
Well, it's impossible.
And yeah, I know. And then Kirill Pridney, he's at the wedge waiting for Julian to pop the top.
I just think you got to go away from that. Oh, and Velasquez gets shot out of his bunker, so just sloppy play here by Aftermath. But I also don't like the look of that can. They're in there statically every time. They're not stopping Karslev on the Dorito side, and that spot becomes extremely treacherous with Dorito side penetration. Kuzmin now owns the snake over here. He's going to crawl down. Aftermath does know he's there.
Yeah, Kuzmin going to try to keep that pack as low as possible and get all the way onto Aftermath's side. He's blocked out from that crossfield shot from both those bodies, actually, from that position. Can't shoot the mini wall, and that can is in the way of shooting Cody Woodruff, but he definitely could shoot Carter's pack. So he's going to come up, get the kill on Carter, and then this should be curtains for Aftermath as soon as Kuzmin clocks in to shoot Woodruff.
Yeah, shoots Woodruff in the back.
One more to go.
Trujillo sends it. Why not? Very low odds situation there in the 1-on-4. Doesn't get anybody, so Aftermath going to tie it up with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock.
Legion.
3-3.
3-3.
3-3.
2:30 left?
Yeah.
This one's tough to call right now because Aftermath shooting the early body, but Legion's taking the spots.
I think Aftermath needs to change their look. I think if they keep sending a player to that forward can, just gun up Snake Way, if they can't stop anything on the Dorito side, that guy is going to get killed every single point out here. They've had early body advantages, but then that guy gets killed. And that's why, to me, they can't develop on that advantage. And also, Red Legion doing probably the best job of anybody of shooting that can when he tries to go forward to the brick. So it's either, to me, it's a game plan adjustment here. You know, you tell your guys to tighten up and give a slightly different look. You know Red Legion's coming for the action.
Let's listen in real quick.
I need paint, guys.
Yeah, somebody get Kirill some paint. You guys got Army in there. Johnson's got it.
Any more?
Starters taking some big, deep breaths here. Can't really go to the bench. I mean, they did with Kuzmin, but Kuzmin's playing nice. I think you got to keep rolling with Kuzmin.
Well, I like the call with Kuzmin in particular, with Steven Mazurk doing such a good job shooting that short shot on the South Electronics can. Don't risk Malloy into that gap. Risk Kuzmin. He makes it, that's great. But more importantly, you keep Malloy alive. Malloy is like the queen on the chessboard, right?
He
He can
really
attack,
is.
he can defend, he can change sides so quickly.
Now we're here with Aftermath. It would be real big for Aftermath if they could get this win. And they desperately need it as they're sitting 1-2 right now. Tournament on the line, playing the series title holders for 2024. Try to keep their hopes alive at Atlantic City.
Yeah, this is their tournament right here. Gotta have it. Tie game. This is what you live for as a paintball player. These tense moments.
So they go back to J-Rab here. No Kuzmin in this one for Red Legion. All locked at 3. This could be the point right here, Mike. Both teams going up the middle, and it looks like Carter going to be taking the walk here for Aftermath. So now Red Legion up a body 5-on-4.
Wow. 5-on-4 already in the center. Is that Smotrov up there? Oh, but they lose Karslev, so 4-on-4.
I think that is Smotrov.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they spin Leo Smotrov, who we haven't seen in a couple seasons, but he was a young phenom coming up. So athletic, looking like John Wick out there sometimes. Oh, but he goes through the gap and ends up getting caught, almost catching a penalty, not listening to the ref, getting called out.
So close to catching the mire. So now 4-on-3, just 1:40 left. Aftermath. The ball is in their court. Brandon Trujillo making moves up the Dorito side. Malloy going to slingshot around J-Rab into the snake. This is bad news if you're Aftermath, with Malloy and J-Rab developing over here. And no resistance, just the brick. Looking snake way. He's going to have to play whack-a-mole against one of the best to ever do it in Alexander Borodnikov. Coming on to Aftermath's end now.
Aftermath diving into that D2 position, and Malloy has to worry about that brick. He's mostly blocked out from that Hertz tower, but can't pop the top too high. He's just gonna go low. Julian's gonna match him.
Huge move by Julian right there.
As we hit the minute mark, Julian into the snake here to do battle with Malloy, but here comes Justin Rabikoff. Justin Rabikoff gonna go all the way up to the 50-yard line to give some support for his boy, Alexander Burtnikoff.
Yeah, so Red Legion selling out on the snake side right here. They're gonna try to win it from this end. Ooh, come over into that wedge. J-Rab unable to shoot him. And then
beautiful move up the middle, though. I thought Justin Rabikoff might have got caught in that position somehow, some way. Still alive, though, as there's just 33 seconds left to go. And here comes a double dose of attackers in the middle and on the D side. Interesting the way that this last few seconds are developing. Grayson Gladstone rolling dice up the middle, though, and unfortunately for Aftermath, he does get caught and just missed his shot on Justin Rabikoff, who now just looking at one body in front of him. Running referee coming to check out another player here for Aftermath as Malloy gets his eye dotted, as Justin Rabikoff dies as well too, but most likely going to see an overtime point here as just 5 seconds to go. Julian's going to launch, not going to have enough time to get to the buzzer, though.
Wow.
As regulation time expires here, Mike. That was a very interesting point.
Yeah, I'd never seen anything like that. Justin Rabikoff, his ability to survive there as Aftermath came onto Red Legion's side of the field to tuck in and sell out completely on the tape side of that 50 snake is the only thing that kept Aftermath from winning that point right there. It wasn't because he shot anybody. It was just living there, held up Aftermath just enough in that 4-on-3 situation.
And I thought Grayson had him here too. So this was that first move from Smotroff. You could see it break off his pack right there. Grayson had no idea it was on the other side. So good job on his boy to have Overwatch. And then here was how it developed towards the end. So Justin Rabikoff at the 50. Malloy gets shot. Justin gets shot as well too. And then Julian goes, he head checks the clock, but probably realizes, man, there's just no way. Let me just make sure. Let me head check across the Dorito side. Okay, no one's streaking up on that side. And then time expires. So overtime point here. Who's going to take it? Aftermath or Legion in the pits right now with Aftermath?
Hey, I need a loader.
Calm down, guys. Calm down. Grayson, you think you can make it up there? Because they're going to put pressure on that.
It was sketchy, but I can do it.
Do you want it?
It was sketchy, but I can do it.
Okay. Hey, Cody. You think you can put that lane on the top?
Timeout. Timeout.
Yeah, no, we did.
Wayne Woodruff connecting with Grayson right there, trying to figure out the play call. Grayson said it was sketchy, but I can do it. Going up to that brick off the break. Red Legion just doing such a good job of flooding paint into the middle, making it hard. Some teams it looks like it's automatic. They're getting no resistance going up there. Not against Red Legion. Sketchy, to use Grayson Gladstone's word there. Yeah, Maddie, I just want to highlight how J-Rab and Malloy not even getting kills, but being alive and how important that is in those clutch situations. Just doing whatever it takes, not surrendering the body, and it bought Red Legion just enough time to go to overtime here. Malloy playing on his belly and J-Rab just matrix dodging with guys on his end. They do get shot in the end of the point, but they were able to survive just long enough.
Yeah, they burnt enough time. At first, the way it was developing with, again, Legion pushing the pace, thought it was going to be Legion's point to steal. But then I love the counterattack up the middle and by Aftermath.
Yeah, and Julian Velasquez getting out onto the wire on the snake really changed it because it disallowed Malloy from playing on the wrap, and it made J-Rab have to respect him as well.
Julian's having a pretty good tournament, man.
Yeah.
Newer pickup for him, and he puts a lot of time in coaches teams down in SoCal, spends a lot of time out here working on his craft, and definitely emerging as a go-to starter here for Aftermath. I mean, look, they're hanging with the season champs. If you can beat Red Legion, you can beat anyone in this league. Also good looks from Carter. Carter, new pickup on the team, and getting lion's share of the spins out here. Kind of going between Lucas and Brandon on the D side. We've seen good looks out of both of them. Grayson getting a decent amount of spins as well too. And then shout out to Kuzman. You know, Kuzman's had some good looks for Legion. But both these teams just, I mean, I'm sure the coaching staff is probably wanting to pull their hair out here for Red Legion because they have made multiple mistakes out here that they don't normally make.
Yeah, Aftermath has done a wonderful job. I'm going to shout out Cody Woodruff on this, of shooting Karslev in his secondaries. Cody Woodruff playing the 2 on the Dorito side over there. They've really given Karslev a hard time in this one.
And you're talking about Mazurek and that off the break shot.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking some of that might have been Zach Carter, too.
Okay,
They have
yeah.
similar swag going out there, but
Carter's way bigger.
yeah.
So on the breakout here, 5 minutes on the clock in this overtime point, and on a delay, J-Rab to the snake off the break. Running referee coming to check out Malloy, so if he has a hit, might be a penalty. J-Rab's also going to get checked out, so aggressive play call as Aftermath goes to default game plan and not able to shoot anybody. Maybe bounced a few bodies, though. 5-on-5. Here comes Kirill up the middle of the field, looking for it, and he's going to launch on to Aftermath's side as Carter runs into a stream, so 5-on-4 in favor, especially with the position. Oh, they're getting absolutely murdered right now. 3 bodies have now walked off for ASG Aftermath. Not looking good for them. Kirill's going to run through, dice up that body, and then Julian gets shot. So a rather anticlimactic overtime point as we're 4:15 left to go, so only about 45 seconds in, and that is it. Legion going to take the victory here.
Yeah, I just think that Legion, at the end of the day, owned the center there for the most part. Grayson, valiant effort to match them. Aftermath needed that point. They're going to be going home now at 1-3. Just too many mistakes again for Aftermath. They had a lot of opportunities in this game. Had some gun battle deaths in inopportune moments. Unable to capitalize on their kill off the break on the snake side. Saw a lot of shining moments out there. Trujillo, Julian Velasquez, Grayson Gladstone, Zach Carter, Steven Mazurek, all those guys had their moments, but they haven't all connected at the same time yet this year.
Aftermath's getting close, but again, another 1-3 performance for them as they lost to Damage, lost to Legion. But the last time they played Legion, it was a 4-8 score. This time, overtime, only a 1-point loss. They also lost to the Sea Dogs, and then they beat AC Diesel. So Aftermath's getting close, but they definitely still have some work to do, and Legion's going to have probably a decently long meeting before their next match against Uprising. But, you know, stuck in the battle, exerted their will on their opponents, and took the victory. Shout out to Impact. They look flawless in this set. But stick around. It's going to be the Hurricanes taking on the Tauntauns, and the Ironmen versus the Sea Dogs. We'll be right back here. 2025 Atlantic City Open. I'm Matty Marshall with Mike Jeffrey. See you in just a few.